object of this picture is to bring before you the safety of the canoe when properly handled, also to demonstrate some of the useful things that should be known, at the same time showing some of the dangers that canoeists are exposed to and how to eliminate these hazards. Over 300 years ago, Champlain passed through the beautiful waters of Stony Lake on his trip from Georgian Bay to Lake Ontario, using as his means of transportation the Indian birch bark canoe. Later, when settlers came to Upper Canada, now Ontario, they made canoes hewn out of logs, known as dugouts, some of which are still in use. And at Lakefield, nearly 100 years ago, the first thin-board canoe was made, patterned after the Indian birch bark, but a much stronger construction. In the early days, canoeing accidents were few, owing to the fact that seats were not built in canoes, and the canoeist was taught to kneel. The greenhorn's habit of sitting on decks, seats and thwarts, is responsible for about 90% of all canoeing accidents. What more enjoyable holiday is to be had without a canoe trip, navigating streams and lakes that are only accessible to the canoe, although many a trip has come to a sad ending through lack of knowledge of how to handle this craft. In carrying a canoe, it is important that the paddles should be attached to the gunwales, but not too tightly, so as to enable the head to come through. These paddles are attached by means of loops, and on loosening one end, the paddles are very easily slipped out. In getting into a canoe, it is important that your hand should be on each gunwale and your foot placed in the center of the boat. This enables you to obtain an excellent balance. And in kneeling, see that your knees are on the bottom of the boat and wide apart. This gives you a very steady position. Notice the clear cut recovery of the blade as it comes through the water. The Indian stroke, where you are sitting on your heels. In turning a canoe, the wider the sweep of the blade, the easier it is for the canoe to come around. A bow stroke, which requires a considerable amount of practice. In drawing water, the blade is moved forward and backwards, at the same time pulled towards you. In turning with one hand, with the blade resting on your back, you can obtain an excellent purchase. And in backing up to keep the canoe straight, it requires a considerable amount of practice. In this turn, the canoe being tipped, the balance is obtained on the paddle. You will notice that the paddle is always in the water. The Indian monogamy stroke, where the body is bent forward and a short stroke is used, while in Stony Lake, a longer sweep of the blade and the body is not bent forward. This keeps your canoe in a steadier position. The racing stroke, notice the forward glide of the body and a long, even stroke. The grip on the paddle should be light, and the upper hand, the thumb, should always be turned down. This enables you to keep a perfectly straight direction without a swing through the canoe. But in the incorrect position, where the thumb is turned up, a drag is created on your stroke and the stern of your boat, swings around considerably. Here are the people of Ontario camping scene. Two people in a canoe are sitting on their thwarts, which means that they have not got as good a balance as they should have. Oh, they are over. In going to the rescue of an upset boat, you catch the stern or the bow of their craft, as the case may be, and raising it gently so as to enable the water to go out over the stern. And when the boat is once across your craft, the boat becomes perfectly steady. In fact, it is almost impossible to upset in this position. You will notice when they get in that they both get in over the side in a very careless manner, yet the two canoes are perfectly steady. In sliding the one boat back, the weight being in the stern of the other, it will slip off very easily. And see that the other occupants, when they start, are in the bottom of their craft. Sometimes it becomes necessary to change position. This is one method of doing so. In going forward, see that both hands are on the gunwale. Another method of changing, which is more simple and easier done. Instead of changing your position, simply change the direction of the canoe, making it go stern first. In upsetting, where one of the occupants is unable to swim, if they'll put their hand on a person's back, it is not very much of a handicap. But where the occupant is unable to swim, then it becomes necessary for to shake the canoe out with one hand. This is done as easily as with two when once the knack is acquired. In this slow motion of the shakeout, notice the wave in the canoe, how it is merely brought over the side by a gentle shove. See that the hands are kept close to the side, and in getting in, the feet are used as a scissor motion. An ordinary shakeout requires from 5 to 6 seconds. An end-to-end shakeout comes in very handy, especially where a canoe has a large tumble hole, or that is curved sides. And in landing, it is essential that the canoe should be held steady. This is one method of doing so. Notice the way the paddle is held across the boat and gripped on the gunwale with the hand. There is no doubt about it that the canoes have the big advantage over the motors as to the right of way. Getaway. I want to if the old man can stage a comeback. Certainly looks like it. And sure enough. The flip. The world's record is 1 4/5 seconds. The double flip. In the slow motion of the flip, notice the hollow in the water under the canoe. And the action of the feet when getting in. Here's something that gives you an excellent sense of balance and comes in very handy should you lose your paddle. And walking the Dunnel also enable you to know whether you have a steady boat or not. Here is one I'd recommend everybody try. We're now leaving for some rapid work. Notice that approaching the down current, coming current, that the canoe is placed at an angle so as not to hit the water sideways. The closer you get to the down tumbling water, the greater the back eddy. And it takes very little effort of the paddler to hold the canoe in this position. But you should not get it too close, as the downcoming waters is very apt to fill your boat. And should your boat become filled and you're caught in the forever revolving waters, it is almost impossible to get out. And here there is a great danger. This is known in raft running as a shove. Notice the down current coming waters, how quickly they swing the boat around. Now they catch the stern of the boat, and again it comes around. And approaching the raft, the falls, you can follow the break between the two currents. Again working close to the eddy. You'll notice that the paddler is hardly using any effort to hold his canoe in this position. Just stroking very easily. And now, swinging the canoe again into the current, it is driven down with great speed. And taking advantage of another back eddy, he swings suddenly around. And in coming up a rapid, you use the back eddies. Here, you have to cross the main current into the back eddy. And it requires a lot of stiff paddling. The eddy that he is approaching is caused by the water coming over a rock, which splits the current and forms the sided back eddy, the canoe being held in position without hardly any effort. At the same time, he has to watch that the downcoming waters do not catch his bow and swing it suddenly around. Once more in the back eddy. Now drifting down, notice the action when he hits these waves, how he holds the boat steady with his paddle. The The waves you see now are caused by rocks, but the canoeist avoids them. He is now approaching many waves, some caused by rocks and others currents, and a good canoeist can distinguish the difference between these. These waves are caused by the conversion of currents. We now leave the beautiful waters of Stony Lake for a trip across Toronto Bay behind the ferries. These waves are made by the paddle wheels of the ferry, and being uniform are more easily to run than the irregular waves caused by winds. The water of the waves does not move forward. It is the motion that travels and carries the canoe along by the force of gravitation.